So today we're reviewing
Jurassic Park 3.
third Jurassic Park movie in the franchise, completing the trilogy in the Jurassic Park movies, because then it goes to Jurassic World. But my initial thoughts on this movie is that I liked it. I like this one more than the second one. There's a lot of good things about it. We have some issues with it, but I overall like it.
No, I definitely overall like this movie too. Unlike some people that really hate this movie with a passion, like it amazes me sometimes when I see I can understand if you didn't like the movie. People try to say it's one of the worst films ever made. I just don't see it. There's a lot of things I like about it. Yeah, there's some maybe storyline or characters that I don't necessarily overtly like, but this is definitely a good movie to me. I really enjoyed it. It might be my least favorite of the franchise, but saying that is not really an insult because I like all of them so much. So saying this is in last place out of the 4 films that have been out so far isn't really an insult. It's just how I feel like overall.
Yes, starting out with the positives. I mean, the characters in this movie, I like all the characters. Even when certain characters are supposed to be annoying, most of the characters in this movie are good. The Kirbys, Alan Grant, the guy, what's the guy's name who steals the eggs? Billy. I just think I just like all the characters in this, and especially a lot of the moments where people probably hated the Kirbys. That's just the kind of characters we like, but there's certain moments with that. But the Spinosaurus, which gets ripped by reviewers that I've heard, I mean, I really like the Spinosaurus, and I think
it's one of the most powerful ones.
Yeah, the first scene where you hear him, I mean, I remember that scene scaring me a lot more than the first one. I remember how when you hear his growl first, and then he runs out and eats that guy, it's that was a really scary scene to me. And the Spinosaurus in general was definitely scary and deadly, and he doesn't even die at the end, so that's crazy thing.
Yeah, he's still, according to what we know in the movies right now, he's still in Isla Sorna, Site B. Still think he's on Site B. I'm really hoping for a return. I'm not expecting it in this one, maybe in the third one. I definitely agree. I mean, Dr. Grant's probably my favorite character in the Jurassic Park franchise, so having him come back was really fun. I just like some of the things he says and what he does, and what he was saying, what Kenny was saying about some of the characters we like that people hate, like the Kirbys. It's annoying when she's yelling into the forest, but that makes sense for her character. She has no idea what she's doing. She's never been on this island. Yeah. She's just looking for her son. And then also a scene like this where Mr. Kirby tries to kick through a vending machine.
This is Sparta!
And there are some boss quotes there are some amazing quotes in this movie, like when Dr. Alan Grant they're trying to figure out what the growl is.
What was that? It's a Tyrannosaurus.
I don't think so. It sounds bigger.
But
there's also just there's other things people don't like. I remember seeing this. See this one the Jurassic Park and the Lost World Jurassic Park. I don't remember seeing in theaters. I think I just saw it on TV and just watched it over and over again on DVD and VHS. But Jurassic Park 3, I remember seeing in theater actually vividly. There was a trailer before the movie that scared me to death. I actually ran out of the theater. I was that afraid. It was.
You were 2 years old at the time.
Looking back and watching that trailer, I don't even know what it's called. It was like an old lady or something It's not scary at all, but to me that was really scary at the time. And I think Kay and I both remember our grandma took us to the movie, and the opening of this movie with the 3 claws going through the title made us jump pretty pretty crazy. Yeah,
that's another thing about there is a lot of moments in this movie that I feel were a lot scarier than the first. I mean, you could argue that
there was a scarier element,
like the beginning of the movie when. It's something like how you don't see their sailing, and you see the wire and they go in the fog, and you can just assume what's happening, and when you can just imagine the pterodactyls just eating them down there, I mean, that's a pretty scary scene just in the beginning of the movie.
No, it just has a weird scary vibe to it. Like he was saying, that scene where they just landed, and Dr. Grant's waking up from being just knocked out by the Cooper. It's just the way you hear the growl and you hear the gunshots and like people running. Like I give the actors a great some props just how they make it seem like they're scared to death running out like to the plane, like the scare, like trying to fly off the track, and Cooper's right there in front of him and he knows he can't stop the plane there. And then when you do see him there, like I never saw the dinosaur before that, and just I don't know. There's scenes like that, and there's also scenes like when they're inside this factory. This will be one of my last pauses. I'll say you see the Velociraptor inside that like tube, which I mean they are pretty smart predators. So that one was very smart, just sitting there like that.
Yeah, when you start thinking about it, it doesn't make sense, but it was definitely scary. I mean, and then
I always say that for the next part.
Well, one more thing about that makes the scene with the Spinosaurus so great is because like the first one, you know, the T-Rex scary scene, like when you see the water going, the famous water rumbling. That's the same aspect. It's like you can imagine it.
The Spinosaurus. I think another thing in this movie was people always rip the new Jurassic World movies for using too much CGI. This movie used probably some of the most animatronics. Like the Spinosaurus is basically, I'd say probably more than half his scenes are animatronic. It's not even CGI.
The Velociraptors are CGI.
Yeah, Velociraptors.
Well, there are some brutal kills in this movie. I mean, not only the Spinosaurus in the beginning.
Yeah, the
people get eaten by
Velociraptor.
pterodactyls.
Yeah.
The Velociraptor sticks his claw into the back of the gun.
There's that scene with the ringtone, which I think is one of the coolest scenes in the Jurassic Park franchise. When they hear the ringtone, and it's actually him standing right there in the woods looking at him.
Yeah, and that's where the Indominus in Jurassic World, they had to throw it back to that. And that's where the Velociraptors, they were strong in the first one, then they got nerfed in the second one, and then they get buffed in this one. But
and then I also liked how they look different, because this is on a different island. Even though they look different, it's cool to see a different types. They're not just one type of Velociraptor. The ones in Jurassic Park and the Lost World Jurassic Park were the same kind of breed, and then this one showed a different. This is the same island as the second movie, but just a different side of the island. And we can see more positives later, but as for negatives for me, I'd have to say definitely one that really sticks with most Jurassic Park fans and anyone that like watches this movie was the T-Rex death, which was just very. I mean, it needed to happen because if you want to hype this Spinosaurus up, then show him go against the T-Rex, which is in every single Jurassic Park movie, and he just breaks his neck pretty fast. Now you do learn, if you're a Jurassic Park fan, that this is a juvenile, like the baby from the second one. So it is a younger T-Rex, so he's not as experienced. But still, that was a pretty.
Yeah, that was another brutal death. And the problem I have with that fight is it's not really the T-Rex died. Obviously, I don't like to see that. Even though the T-Rex wasn't good in the first movie.
No.
I mean, the T-Rex kills people in both of the movies. So people that feel bad, it's literally murdering people in both the first two movies. But. And even in the new Jurassic World, I guess he was fighting on their side, but he's trying to kill Owen in the next one, so it's not like he's good.
He was chasing Claire. He was going to eat Claire, and then he just happened to run and see a bigger dinosaur. So this obviously he's kind of a hero to the fans in some ways, but he's not a good T-Rex. Like
And so I was fine with that killing, but the fact that the fight was so short was mainly my problem. It was still awesome. And I guess when you go too long, maybe it won't be as awesome. But I thought the way they should have done it is they should have had the fight happen. You see some of it, but then they run away and you don't know what happens. That would honestly, I would have liked that better. You don't need to see what happens, honestly.
That definitely would have saved a lot of edits where people try to make it seem like he actually survives that fight.
Because then, if you don't know if they survive that, and then when you see the Spinosaurus later, you know who wins because he won. I don't know that, but
they definitely could have done that. I feel like it was a pretty short movie, but I felt like it was. I mean, I thought it flowed pretty well. I mean, I definitely enjoy this movie a lot more than other people do.
It's like an hour and a half, apparently.
Yeah, it doesn't. The kid character maybe can be annoying, but I mean.
Yeah, the one girl character when she's young can be a little annoying, but honestly, I like this movie more than the second one. Yeah.
I just think what you said earlier. There really is, when you think about it, a lot of quotable moments in this movie. Like, there's a lot of quotes.
I loaned it to Nash.
That, and then there's also him saying nobody move a muscle and they all run, and it follows after him. like towards the beginning. But
That's another animatronic is the
yeah,
T-Rex.
there's a ton of animatronics used in this movie, which I feel like people choose to forget and try to just act like it's such a horrible movie. But
another moment in this movie that I'm just telling you, there's so many moments in this movie where it's like, it's scarier than anything I've seen in any of the other movies, is the pterodactyl scene. That's the scariest one. Is when, you know, they're walking across the bridge and there's the fog, and you see the pterodactyl walk across. That honestly, that scared the crap out of me. I remember watching that. This is probably a pretty high score, but if I gave Jurassic Park a 10, I gave Lost World 8.5, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to give this a 9.5, just because, I mean, honestly, I'd be tempted to go higher, because I can't really think of any negatives.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of quotable moments. There's so many memorable moments, and if there's that many memorable moments in the movie that I remember, I mean, I remember so many, and I remember there's a lot of iconic scenes.
I mean, we didn't even talk about
a lot of the characters,
yeah,
so 9.5.
9.5. We didn't even talk about the give me the bag scene.
Yeah.
I gave Jurassic Park a 10 out of 10. I gave The Lost World Jurassic Park an 8.5 out of 10. It's like, I feel like this one was last place, but think about it now, there really isn't, I don't have any negatives that are really that bad. So, Park 3, I'll give it a 9 out of 10, but I think I like The Lost World better, even though I got an 8.5 out of 10. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
So, like, the score, because I just had more complaints from The Lost World that I can remember, like characters that annoyed me even more. But I still liked it better, even though it got an 8.5.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give Jurassic Park 3 a 9 out of 10. I'm really excited that we're getting close to the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which means we have one more quick review in the Jurassic series here before we see this movie Thursday night. We did get tickets for a Thursday night showing.
It's already booked.
It's a premiere. It's an exclusive showing for us.
Yeah, we'll try to videotape the crowd in there. I don't know if it'll be incredible.
We'll definitely.
Insane,
if there's a crowd, we'll definitely try to film it. Either way, we can still try to film walking into this theater.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be as crazy as Incredibles. We'll see. No, thanks for watching this quick review of Jurassic Park 3, and we will see you guys in the next movie review. Bye, guys.
Nobody move a muscle.